Bethany, this is episode 1.
Episode 1.
We're actually doing it. Like, this was a pipe dream for a long time, and we're both very busy women. The fact that we're actually sitting and filming this
is pretty awesome.
Is pretty cool. But this episode is kind of all about us.
Woo!
So if you don't like us, this isn't the one to start on.
Well, hopefully you do.
Yeah, and we've got lots of things to talk about. I thought we could talk mainly about ourselves, our businesses, what this podcast is for, like just a little bit of a brain dump of everything. And then from next episode, we can go deep.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and welcome
the Unfiltered Bride Podcast, tips from the top table and beyond.
So you know it's going to be juicy. Quick disclaimer before we start.
If you are easily offended,
don't like other people's opinions,
or not into weddings,
then this podcast is not for you.
So just scroll on by. So I thought the best way to do it is that you introduce me and then I'll introduce you.
Okay.
Okay? Are we going to be nice to each other or horrible?
What do you want to see, guys?
Bit of both.
Bit of both. Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for Georgie from Georgina Rose Events.
Yay!
Woo! The absolute boss bitch of wedding planning and absolutely taking over the industry. So
that's how cute.
Oh, you're smashing it.
Thanks, mate. Smashing it because you're smashing it. We've done well together.
Smashing together?
Yeah.
Sound right?
It's not that podcast. Views, whatever gets views.
PG only.
Okay, and without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, stay standing.
And clapping, please.
And clapping for Bethany Smith, the owner of Etiquette Events Styling, which is the most epic and bougie company you will ever see in your entire life. And I don't think if you look at their weddings, you could ever then go back to not having them involved.
Nice intro, I like it.
You're welcome, you're welcome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Etiquette Events? Tell us like how you started it, what it was like, what it's built up to be now, and just a bit of everything.
Basically, someone who you're listening to's advice, you want to know where their backgrounds come from, really?
Yeah.
Who am I? Who is this girl and
gives
why
you
should I
the
listen
right
to
to tell us?
Basically. So Etiquette was built, as you know, about 3.5 years ago. I've been in the wedding industry for 12 years now.
You old.
Oh, don't. My skin is definitely starting to change. I think post like 27, I was like, oh.
How old are you?
28. Long.
I hate my
Don't
life.
put that in. Anyway, so Etiquette was born. I was wedding coordinating. I just like the wedding industry is like dead. I was like, I'm tired of seeing these boring ass weddings. Cadbury purple, Hessian lace. I'm done with you. I'm ready to move on. And it was more, I found that there was a gap in the market for the modern bride. And if I was getting married, I didn't know who I'd use.
Nice.
So yeah, I wanted to step into the waters, have a go at it.
And how easy was that? How rough were those
I
waters?
I drowned in those waters and drowned again. I felt like I had someone pushing my head down in the sea. And I hate the sea now.
Trying to hold themselves up by holding you under.
But no, we started off with flower walls, so that's how everyone knew us. And we started off with the flower walls, and I just thought, if I buy them, what's the worst that can happen? I can always sell them again. And yeah, it just went from there. It blew up very, very quickly. We got a lot of influencers on board, and then COVID. So that was a bit of a bummer, but we thrived. We did all the outdoor domes. But yeah, Etiquette is for the bougie brides. We do styling and hire and floral design all under one roof. So basically an all-in-one stop shop. And I am beyond a perfectionist.
Yeah, I know.
Bit of an ick, right?
As a bride, it's very good that you're a perfectionist. As a colleague, friend, not so much friend, anything for people that work for you. And I think you knew this at the start. Is some people struggled because they could never hit your expectation of them working and what they were producing. Because if you didn't do it, it wasn't.
Yeah, if I didn't do it, it wasn't right. And now we have some really cool values in place that everyone has, like Beth goggles on, we call it. How can I see it through Beth's eyes?
Nice.
And the attention to detail is amazing. And I think that's what stands out.
Agreed.
So yeah, we're pretty awesome. I say.
Also agree.
Yeah, we're a big team.
How many?
15.
Ooh.
Woohoo! 15 attention to detail people.
Nice. So tell us like the best part about running the business.
The best part is we spend a lot of time with our clients. Our relationships are very, very strong with our customers. They become our friends. We're like your best friend. And we talk to you vent to us about absolutely everything. And that's what's really important, that we get to know you as a person and your family. And it's just an amazing relationship. There's no feeling like it. And I remember back in my career, back in the day, when I was doing an event, and there was just this feeling in my stomach. And it's that when you do a wedding and you absolutely smash it, there's no feeling like it.
No, I agree.
It's that adrenaline, it's the stress. It's like, it's not an enjoyable easy job.
It's when you're driving home and you're like, I'm going to cry. I just don't know if it's because I'm happy, tired, sad, stressed, like, but it's all of it. And it just, I think unless you work in the wedding industry, it's very hard to understand how much how much personality goes into, it's not just setting up a wedding. It's so much has gone into it. And then when it's done right and you see a couple that are happy, you're like, I will sleep.
And then you get up and do it again from 3 hours sleep.
Yeah.
And it's why do you keep doing that? I think that's what you ask yourself. But there's so many moving parts, as you know, to a wedding day. And just even the process that we do, to kit list, to day plans, to consultations, to loading vans, to vehicles, van routes, staffing. And then all the pretty stuff on top of that is
your company is looked at as the you add the pretty bits, and it's like, oh, it's so much more than that.
No one sees it. No one sees it not so pretty.
Not pretty.
No one sees us sweating on the day. What we do is really pretty, but we don't look so pretty when we do it.
And what's the worst thing about the business? Like, what's the worst part about doing this bit for the wedding?
I think you're so emotionally involved and invested that is also very draining on your personal life.
What personal life?
Exactly. And I think having that work-life balance is really important. I think hospitality in general is tarnished and very underpaid, very hard work, long hours. The new generation don't want to do it. So it's keeping that momentum up for the team. Like, they work super, super, super hard. But it is unsociable hours. It's weekend work. It's early mornings. But if it's the career path you want, you can really, really get some good results from it and work with some amazing brands like we have. So I'd say that's one of the worst parts, is that your personal life does take a bit of a hit on it. Especially in your early career. As like for my seniors, they don't really do any weekends anymore. They do 9 to 5.
But you cannot get to that bit. I think sometimes people think that they can step into that part, and you have to have done your years of grafting before you can even look at taking a Saturday off.
So my senior, and that's what people want. People want the see the pretty side and don't see the hard work. There's a lot of hard work. So I've had my hands in slops buckets. I've been vans, de-rigging. I did Glastonbury. I remember I had to do the de-rig of Glastonbury, and I just had no phone charger and tent raining. But no, I think you have to do the hard work to get to that level. But if you don't do the hard work, you don't realise the operation behind it, so you can't execute it in the way that you would. So maybe that. Okay. So Georgina Rose Events.
That's me.
The wedding planner of the year. Whoop whoop.
I feel like my dad just gave me that title.
Or I could call her the Blow Me Girl. Which one would you prefer?
Both.
Bit of context behind that. Georgie was recently on the Nearly Weds podcast.
I was twice now.
Yeah,
2 episodes
Jamie
down.
And Sophie.
Yeah.
So go check that out if you haven't already.
Some good tips on that.
Yeah, she's really good at what she does.
Thanks. But it did go semi-viral. Did go a bit mad.
Viral.
15 million.
Basically, I'm sat next to a celebrity. If you didn't
know. She's paying me to be here.
So yeah. You're not meant to tell anyone that. No, seriously, Georgina Rose Events. How did it start? Bit about your career. Okay. And how have you grown it to the level you have in such a short space of time?
So my background was, I'm the typical person and always knew that I wanted to be a wedding planner. It's nowhere near what I thought it was going to be.
So for anyone who's not watching,
I'm putting quotes to the fact that a wedding planner is a really weird
from the
job
movies.
Title. From the movies, the cute little headset. Like, that's already a joke. I don't need a headset. I ain't got nobody to talk to.
Who are you talking to? Like, the bride's got
bride's
got a little ear piercing.
So I went to university. I was doing event management because that is the path that set me on the thing, and that's what I had to do.
Be honest though, you dropped out, right?
Twice. Went to university twice.
I'm not sure you were going to release that information.
I was going to. I'm proud. I'm a proud dropout.
Okay, at what point did you drop out and why?
The very so it didn't help, and I'm going to blame my husband.
Shout out Brian.
Shout out to Brian.
Frugal spender.
Go
follow him.
I met Brian I'll be super honest. Brian is in this room, but I will be even more honest. I picked a university in Hertfordshire because my then boyfriend was at university in London.
You did.
I followed a boyfriend.
Oh God, you're not one of those girls.
I was that girl. I know. So
Wait, does he know that?
Brian?
No, the boyfriend.
Yeah. Which is, it gets even worse because once Brian came to visit me at uni, and then him and the ex-boyfriend were on the same bus back to Gloucester.
You guys are
number 94 bus as well.
She will run off with your husband, guys.
Just FYI, me and Brian have been together for like 12 years. Like this was, so I wasn't with that boyfriend anymore. I met Brian. We started going out and blah blah blah, and then the university results came back and it was like, yeah, I got in, and I was like, amazing. Bye. And then went, and literally it didn't help that how uni was. I had 2 days where I was actually doing lectures, so it fell bad. I couldn't have my car down there. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere. You couldn't work anywhere, so I was literally like this
pining for Brian, basically.
Pining for Brian. So I used to have lectures on a Monday and a Thursday. So after Monday I would go to Brian, I would go and stay with him back in Gloucester. It would come to Thursday and I'd be like, well, there's no point going back for like 2 lectures, is there? So miss it, stay the weekend.
You bunked it. You
bunked it.
You bunked it for Bri.
Proper bunked it for Bri. It was worth it. Thank God it was worth it now. But the one lecture that I was sat in and I was like, this is ridiculous, is that we were learning about what is a leader. And I don't mean like, oh cool, like how it was like, what does the word leader mean? It means somebody that is in charge of the event. Blah, blah. And I was like, this is not a job that I can learn sat behind the desk.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. And I'm not a textbook person anyway, but
don't we know?
It's a job that you have got to learn it by doing it. If somebody tells you that this doesn't work at a wedding, you go, okay, cool, I'll remember that. Until you've worked it and seen that it does not work, it doesn't compute.
Yeah. To be fair, my placement year at uni was
the best part of it.
I didn't do the placement at university. I wouldn't have got the opportunities that I had.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have learned anything. I wouldn't even know the language or terminology of events and weddings. Like it's a completely different language. And if you're not in it, you don't actually know.
And you have to do it to realize that it's not easy, that it's not glamorous, it's not like all of those things.
It's not sexy.
It is not a sexy job. Like, not.
Like, oh my God, you're a wedding planner.
Literally, people love the job title, don't want to do anything, don't want to do anything behind it. So first of all, find a wedding planner that does not wear heels.
Yeah, I think.
That is a red flag. If you will ever see one, that's a red flag if she's wearing heels. Like,
I mean, kudos to them that they do, but they obviously don't.
They're not walking around.
Yeah, the amount of steps you do on a wedding day is crazy as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
great.
20,000 plus, easy. So anyway, left uni twice. Started working. I lied to get my first job because got to do.
That's fraudulent. You can actually get sent to prison for that.
Well, it wasn't technically a lie. I said that I was doing a wedding planning course online.
One of those.
Yeah.
Again, wedding planning courses.
I shit you not, it was a Groupon deal.
Online. If your wedding planner puts that on her portfolio or his portfolio, run.
Yeah. No,
they are not wedding planners. And if you call yourself a wedding planner after doing one, you need to leave the industry.
You do.
It's insulting. It is really insulting.
But I will stand by the fact that it is impossible. So I've just told people basically not to go to university and get experience. You can't get experience until you have something to get you have to have done some experience to get more experience. So it is a cycle of so I did what I got to do to get in, and it was a golf club and it was a part-time wedding planner and it was very sort of low key, but it was the perfect step. Once I was in, I knew that was it. That's all I needed was that first job to be confident. I'm a wedding planner. Oh. I literally remember sleep talking because we had a little app that recorded at the time, and I in a dream was like, I'm a wedding planner. So cute.
So we've just told people don't do a wedding planning course.
Well,
don't go to uni.
I'm not saying don't do a wedding planning course.
Drop out of uni. But all you've got to do is manifest in your sleep. I'm a wedding planner. So hear it here first, guys.
That's it. That's what
I'm a wedding planner. I'm a wedding planner. I'm a wedding planner.
That's it.
So you're finally a wedding planner.
Yeah. Then what?
Now what? Where'd you go? What happened next?
I had a couple more jobs in between. I did a 5-star hotel and spa.
Oh, 5-star. Which one was that?
Sorry, can I name names? Yeah, I can name names. Wickhill House Hotel and Spa.
Nice.
Beautiful. Realised that I'm not a luxury person. I'm a real talk. I'm not
no BS approach, basically.
No BS approach. And then I found out
which I think is really important, which we should actually touch on. Is
I'm not ashamed of my branding and my style. If people don't like it, then I'm not the right person, and I wouldn't be the right person on the day. So you might as well know at the start that this won't work. So I found out I was pregnant there. Lol. 21 years old, pregnant, didn't know what I was doing, terrified.
Bye wedding planning dream.
Bye wedding planning dream. So
hello mama.
And if anybody that follows my sister, she's the best thing. She's literally the best thing in the entire world.
Basically, the only reason why Georgie had clients is because of Isla on her Instagram.
Probably. So And I'm so happy that happened at that time, because I wasn't established as a wedding planner. I was literally just working whatever. So I wasn't losing a huge amount, and I knew I could go back to it. But now she's older, it means that I can throw everything into this. Like if I had to stop now, if I wanted children, it would be it would be harder. So it all worked out in the way.
So don't worry, if you want Georgie for your wedding, she's not having any more children.
I ain't got no child. Yeah, no more kids.
Wait,
no more child
Brian,
issues.
has that been agreed?
It's more Brian than me. So I took some time off, raised Isla, did a couple of jobs in between of just like part-time, just whatever was fun at the time, bit of marketing-y stuff. And then I went back to wedding-ish, and I went back to work for a catering company that I used to work for when I was like 14 doing waitressing. And that job taught me everything. Like outside catering is the hardest part, I think.
And that's what I did for my placement.
Yeah. Anybody that's come from that kind of background, if you don't order plates, there are no plates. You're in a field. You're in a marquee in a field.
If you don't order bins,
you got no bins.
You got no place to put the rubbish.
Nothing. Like honestly, it's the one that you have to think about the entire wedding. Yeah. Which is what I think helped me then learn planning, is because if you come from a venue to become a planner, you kind of have only learnt your venue, and most of the time there's plates in the back. Yeah. Like there's
spare tablecloth.
Yeah, backup plans. Whereas when you do outside catering, not only have you got to think about the food, you've got to think about everything else that goes along with it. So I learnt a lot there. The only reason Brian had always told me to start a business. I wasn't really business.
Not being like, I want to be an entrepreneur.
No, none of that. I still don't really like the businessy side of the business.
Don't we know, Brian?
That's why he's come to join it and do that, because I just want to do what I love doing, but I wanted to do it on my own terms. That was the bit.
You wanted Georgina Rose events.
I wanted my name on it. Yeah. And that sounds selfish or self-loving. I don't know what it was, but I loved working for that company, but a lot of it was growing their company. And whilst I loved doing that, I was like, hold on a minute, I want this for me. And it purely came down to a money thing. I wanted more money. They didn't want to pay more money. So I was like, I'll start a business on the side. And it was like a little social media thing. Basically, when I built up the money for that, from what I was earning from working part-time, I was like, I'll start the wedding planning business. Georgina Rose Events. Boom. Dropped in January 2020. March 2020, there were no more weddings.
So yeah, we had a very similar journey.
Yeah, like I think in hindsight, it was the best timing ever. Sure.
I mean, our marketing, we got so much time for our marketing, really worked out a business plan, what direction we were going to go in, despite all of the chaos it came with. There was a lot of
built a brand in that time, like for sure. That's when, because I had no weddings to show, I could only put my face out there. That's the only thing I could do.
Hey, your face sells, right?
Well, you know, pretty little thing, me.
Sponsor.
But that was, when it comes to like the negatives we talked about for your one, I feel like I'm talking way more about this business, but like the negative, I don't have a thing. I don't have a product. I don't have anything to show you before you book me. You're purely booking a personality and a vision of a wedding, like how a wedding should run, and knowledge. That's what you're paying for. I don't have a product. I can't show you photos. I can't do anything. So that's probably the hardest bit of my role. But also it meant for the other wedding planners that don't put their face out there, you have to.
And I think there's a few of us actually who started our companies. For example, Pat Partridge, photography. And we were all kind of on that journey together. And it was at that stage when no one really wanted to show their face on social media.
Videos were only just...
And it was like, is that a bit icky? Do you love yourself? And as soon as I did, people buy from people, right?
100%.
And it's so weird. People are like, hi, Beth. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. But no, I think that showed your personality. Again, that no BS approach.
Yeah.
Like when I started, it was like, I would want... Who would I want if I was getting married?
Yeah.
And there wasn't that person.
I think people forget that when you book suppliers, you have to book it half on the person, half on the thing they're doing and the reviews and all of that stuff, and definitely research your people. Half of it is on that feeling you get when you talk to them. Do they care?
If you don't vibe and you don't click,
don't book them.
And that's really important. Again, now we're at a place where we can, and you do as well, that if you don't have the right vibe with us, we don't connect. It's a two-way relationship. We invest so much of our time into you.
Yeah.
If it's not going to work for you and it's not going to work for us, and it's not a relationship that we're not going to pursue, and we're luckily in that place where we can turn away bookings essentially. But I think that's important from a bride as well, just because it looks great. If you don't get that feeling, if you don't get that vibe,
don't book it. Honestly, don't,
because you'll have sleepless nights about it.
And this is like, I feel like this episode of the podcast is quite heavy on our businesses, but I hope it helps brides and things and grooms understand that there are people behind the companies that you're booking, and there are stories behind the companies you're booking, and they're like, you really need to get to know the person,
the journey they've been on,
everything,
how they've got to where they are today,
to trust that person with the biggest day of your life.
Jesus. When you put it like that. Again, and that's what I'm saying, the pressure is insane for us. It's insane. But what would you say your top tips are when booking your suppliers and working with your suppliers?
Okay, tips for picking suppliers would very much be research. You've got to look at I'm not saying judge somebody based on their social media, because some fantastic companies are just shit at social media and should really outsource it. But look at things they've done. Look at tagged photos that they're tagged in.
Photos is like the Insta versus reality, isn't it? It's like, there's an on-filter on that one.
Yeah, it looks shit.
But also, I think with actually being careful on that one is reviews.
Yeah.
I think you can just get dicky people who leave reviews, and when you read a review, it's like TripAdvisor, isn't it? When
I feel like you've got to read the bad one to be like,
and then you're like, oh,
what's the
really?
story?
Like, is it really that bad?
Yeah.
It's just you just get.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm 5-star.
She doesn't get people to leave a review. She's got 2 reviews.
I don't.
And I'm one of them. No, I'm joking. No, tagged photos really, really
tagged
important.
photos. Have to read reviews. You've got to see that they are reputable companies. I would do a bit of digging on their website. I would go
what venues they work with. If the venue's really reputable. Venues don't work with. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Venues don't work with crap suppliers.
No, venues work with responsive suppliers. I think that they
reliable.
wouldn't reliable. I don't think they'd recommend someone, but it doesn't mean that
they're the best.
You don't know the connections but I think another good thing is recommended suppliers from other suppliers that you've already got booked. If you book, like if people come to me and say, who should I have for XYZ, if I bring all those people that I know, that day it's going to be honestly, that day is going to run like clockwork, because all those people work together. Like especially like photographers and videographers.
That's really important that photographer and videographer work together.
And they know it, and
that's dangerous territory, isn't it? It's like, get out of my shot.
Some drama.
Get out of my shot.
Yeah, like proper drama doing that, which is fun for me because I'm like, excuse me, sorry,
no fighting on the wedding day.
To me, photographer is top dog.
Yep.
All the time.
They're the don.
100%. So, but that doesn't put the videographer any lower down. It just means that the photographer is making the shot and the videographer comes into place. Yeah. That's how I would see it.
And that's how I normally see it work, actually.
Yeah, and it works well. Tips for working with suppliers is different to getting suppliers. Once you've got your group of suppliers, first things first, if you don't want to book a supplier, just tell them. Just tell them.
Do not ghost suppliers.
Yeah.
Just email us, tell us, we're busy people, don't let us chase you. If we are not right for you,
no hard feelings.
Tell me. I don't mind. I'm a big girl. Yeah. I might cry about it.
Yeah. I cry at home, like not to you.
No, but always give constructive feedback as well, I think. It's like when people don't go ahead with us, say like, oh, it's location or your minimum spend, or it's always good to review your process and figure out what's going on. But
it's nice for you to sit back and go, okay, we've lost that client, but it wasn't from anything that we could have done differently. It's just,
or who
not
did
worked.
you use? Okay, they're a completely different style to us.
Yeah.
Great. Cool.
Yeah, 100%. There's people that come to me that want a certain style, and I'm like, etiquette actually isn't what you want. You want this. Different.
Are you saying you don't recommend me?
Never. You were my wedding stylist.
Okay, to be fair, that's a big point.
So tip 1 is do not ghost people. Just let them know. It takes 30 seconds to say no thank you, but thank you so much for your time. Like time, the amount of pre-work that goes into
free value.
100%.
So much free value.
100%. So if somebody has, it's just good etiquette is to sit.
No pun intended.
To just say thank you, but no thank you, and then we close everything. You stop getting emails. You stop. The date is no longer holding up. This is the main tip of this podcast. There's proper people behind businesses. Just help out by saying not going.
But also, it's not even to scaremonger you. The inquiries that you get as a wedding supplier are massive, and
all for the same date.
Yeah, and you're holding that date for somebody who's not getting back to you because they inquired first. Yeah, you do first refusal. And then they don't get back to you, and you're like in this limbo, and then you then can potentially ruin that relationship with the next client. So it's like, I think there's a stigma about being quite embarrassed about it, because if it does come down to budget, A lot of people don't want to be like, oh, sorry,
mate,
not my
I am
budget.
so cheap. I will quite happily say to people, I'm really sorry, I can't afford that.
See, whereas I wouldn't.
No, we're very different
We're very
people.
different
This
like
is
that,
why
yeah.
this will work, because I'm happy to save money, make things myself, do whatever I need to do. Mate, you come back to me when you're married and you let me know how depressing it is, the amount, like when you separate the amount of money that a wedding is. The average wedding is now probably, I reckon, 30.
Ease,
30,
at least.
30,000.
And that's why we're not getting married. Jack does not want to get married because of the money basis.
Yeah, like it is.
I do think we should start a petition though. Jack proposed to Beth.
Yeah, that would be a good episode. Oh my God, can you do it on the podcast? But I don't think anyone should feel embarrassed about saying that is not a priority for my budget.
Exactly. And I think that's what's really important as well when you start wedding planning. Again, even with the styling, I always say to my clients, what is a must for you when it comes to styling? And that might be charge plates at the top or charge plates at the bottom.
Yeah.
Everybody is completely different.
Yeah. Pick your, my biggest tip is to pick the supplier that's most important to you, and that's not about the person. For us, it was drink, it was alcohol.
For sure.
We paid good money to have good bartenders because that was the most important thing.
On New Year's Eve.
On New Year's Eve, like you could not
You're
have.
not cheap, mate. That must have
yeah,
been.
but that was the most expensive. Like that was one of the most expensive.
Brian
things we
paid
had.
for that one, didn't he?
But that was. I was very happy to not compromise on that.
Yep.
Whereas when it came to things later on, like a wedding cake, I personally...
Oh, yeah, you didn't have a cake.
Didn't have a cake. Because, and it's each to their own. I didn't
And as a guest, I didn't notice. I was so well fed and watered.
That's the thing. We put our money into the bits that were important. For me personally, a wedding cake just came lower down on the list. And that was... I would have liked a wedding cake, but that was my compromise.
But don't you feel cake cutting's really awkward?
I don't personally like cake cuttings. However, I can help people make cake cuttings better. There is absolutely no shade with having different priorities to other people.
Absolutely.
Do not apologize for it. Like some people,
my priorities to your priorities are completely
totally
different.
Totally different. And like,
And that's okay.
yeah, this is, we will have to, I don't want your, I mean, you're wrong, but no, but I don't want your wedding. I want my wedding.
My wedding's going to be epic.
But your wedding will look, I imagine that the looks of your wedding is the most important thing. And
For
that's
sure.
fine.
I've got a styling company.
Like, I would be embarrassed if I sat there and it looked
It's embarrassing.
basic. Yeah. So, and Brian was a cocktail bartender. If people went and there were no cocktails, they'd be
All
like,
the drinks
nah.
are shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I stayed around for 12 years of this relationship because I knew the wedding would have cocktails. So, like, pick your most important. That's the thing, to sit down at the start and say, these are the most important things to me. Start by
and what
booking
makes sense
those.
to you?
Yeah.
Like you said,
Book those
the drinks,
suppliers
because
first.
Brian was bartending, flaring, professional, award-winning
bartender.
bartender.
And I like me a good cocktail.
Cocky.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's really, and again, it's going to be so different to everyone else's, and everyone's going to have different opinions. Everyone's not going to like it. We're going to be quite savage in this podcast. If you don't like our opinion, it's not right. Our opinions aren't always right.
My opinion is right for my wedding.
I forgot Georgie's always right.
I am always right, though. This is an issue. No, but I'm not apologising for any decisions that I made on my wedding. It's my wedding.
For sure.
It's my wedding. I will do whatever the fuck I want to do on my
Preach it,
wedding.
sister.
I
Preach
will.
it louder.
Like, honestly, I
and
get
proud.
so upset by couples that come to me and they're like, we really want to do this, but I don't think this person will like it. And I'm like,
down to food as well. I'm like, you ain't fucking paying for it. If you're sorry.
Nah.
We think we need a swear jar for this podcast.
We should. We've been minted.
But no, if you're not paying for it, you get what you're given. If you don't like it, that's on you. I know you want everyone to have a good time, and everyone will. But the people that moan, just don't fight them.
No, I think
get rid.
I wanted my guests to have the best day ever, but on my terms.
I did have the best day ever.
Good, thank you. Thanks for coming.
She paid me.
Okay,
so
we've digressed a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah.
Rein it back in, Beth.
Bring it back.
2022.
What a year,
mate. I will say it. I am happy for a bit of self-love. We have absolutely smashed it. 2022 was a pretty epic year for both of us.
Yep.
We did a lot.
How
many days off did you have last year?
0.
Oh,
I nearly lost my relationship.
you did nearly. Yeah.
I lost a lot of staff.
You did.
No, 2022. Incredible.
Tough and good.
Tough and good. I think the postponements was really, really...
How many weddings did you do last year?
I think we were at... I don't know exact numbers, but we were looking at 300 odd. So yeah, big wedding, big operation. We don't normally do that many, but it was a postponements. And again, that's really difficult for...
You don't want to let people down.
They've booked you the year prior and they're like, oh, can I move my winter? Sorry, I can't do that now.
Yeah.
What?
I felt
we put
so
the
bad
people,
for suppliers.
We put the people first.
Yeah.
And if I've got to bend over backwards, I'm joking. I didn't nearly lose my relationship.
It was,
Jack turned into a housewife. I am now the housewife. I now have days off.
Okay. I do not.
Shout out, Jack. You were great. Love you.
But there was a lot of, I can see why couples they paid it. They can't do their date. So of course you have to do it a year later.
Yeah.
But for suppliers, it was like, well, we've had that bit of money, but now we can't work for 2 years. If you don't rebook, we won't be around.
Yep.
We can't just keep the date ticking over.
And there were people that wanted refunds and money back. And I think what people don't understand as a business as well, like the money you pay doesn't sit in a pot to your wedding day.
No. It gets spent. It's gone. It's staff.
Like we have staff, and we didn't make anyone redundant during COVID, which was a massive thing. I have a responsibility to my team.
Yeah.
And I will do whatever it takes to make sure that they are okay. And
you did.
And I did. So yeah, I think we were really good. We were really good with postponements and moving, but it just put a lot of pressure and strain on our team. So whereas now we're much more selective on what we do and how many events we take on. Yeah. It was a big lesson.
Yeah.
Some epic weddings.
There were some very good weddings.
Georgina Rose events was in 2022.
I did have one day off last year.
The wedding
day. Still worked a little bit.
Wait, did you say that's a day off or not? Because that was definitely a to-do list on that day.
It was a to-do list.
So yeah, 2022.
It's just been a lot. Like
Hey, wait, you didn't have a day off?
No.
Brian turned full-time housewife.
Brian quit the police.
Stay-at-home dad.
Stayed at home dad. Don't, because his family will listen to this, and this is not what happened. He has other business. We have a few businesses going on, but the main I could not have done last year, 2022, without Brian not being in a job where he had shifts.
Responsibilities now.
So responsible. Childcare, pick up school, do all of that. I couldn't commit to all of that stuff because I think Georgina Rose Events did about 80 weddings. I personally must have done 75. And that's all day weddings. That's from the start till meetings, first dance. Yeah, all of the pre-stuff. So if I didn't have help at home, I wouldn't have even been able to get to them.
What was your high of last year and what was your low?
Ooh.
I think I was there for every low.
I only cried once last year.
That's a lie.
I think I only cried. 2021 was worse for me. I think I only proper cried once, and that was because one event that we did. I overthink when people.
This wasn't a wedding, by the way.
This wasn't a wedding. But I say yes. I struggle with saying no for a start. So I originally should have just said I can't cope with adding additional.
But it was a good opportunity.
It was a great opportunity. But it was one supplier in particular was not my friend, did not like me, and that really upsets me.
No, I'm joking.
But that really gets to me. Like I'm not that you're way better at going fuck off, I don't care.
I think that's come with time though. I think that's where I went wrong at the start, is that you're so emotionally invested and involved in it. This is your baby, right?
Yeah.
You put your time, all your money, all your savings,
and my thing is that I am the person.
Yeah.
If people don't like etiquette, you can kind of go, well, they don't like the style, they don't like the
nah,
if they don't like if they don't like Georgina Rose Events, it's literally my name.
Yeah.
But I struggled with trying to make everybody happy constantly, not knowing my own boundaries of being like, you haven't paid for this bit. I can't say no. If people ask me to do stuff, I'm like, yeah. But what I need to do is go, I can do that, but it'll either be in 2 weeks' time or it will cost you more money. So something like that. But that was the low. The lows were not horrendous, to be fair. I thought it could have been worse for the amount of weddings I did.
It was just tough, wasn't it? It was just time management. Like you're tired. People are dicks.
And I was also trying to plan my own wedding.
And Georgie was shit at planning her own wedding. So the award-winning famous wedding planner was shit at planning her own wedding. But
can I explain why?
She's also very, very good at planning weddings, and she's the best wedding planner I know.
Thank you.
But her own wedding planning.
Should I tell you why?
Questionable.
I rightfully for them, but not for me, I put everybody else before mine. So for the weddings that I had booked, it was more important for the people that were paying me to get answers than my wedding get stuff booked.
Absolutely.
So,
and this is where you
I should have taken a day off every week.
Yeah. We care so much about our clients and the end result that it's always bloody epic.
If somebody, and it happens, somebody will ring me and say, this has happened, can you help me?
And you drop
everything.
Tools,
everything. Yeah. And we've even done it for each other. There's been times where something's happened and gone, I need you here today. Yeah. Okay, cool. It was my only chance of a day not in somewhere or going somewhere, but you have
SOS calls when it's like, I need you. And a lot of the time it's out of our control.
Yeah.
And this is what happens in the wedding industry.
And it's also out of the couple's control.
Exactly.
It'll be, And even like say if suppliers don't turn up, it won't be because they have just gone, I'm not doing a wedding today.
Broken down van, COVID
was a big one.
People have damaged or lost stock from the previous event. And I think that's where we're different is I will bend over backwards for my clients. I've lost a lot of money. I've had couriers from Newcastle to make sure that my clients get what they've paid for. And
I think suppliers helping other suppliers is probably the biggest thing I've learned this year actually is oh God's sake, 2023 now. It's because I was so busy. Your wedding. I know, it's not over it. Technically, my wedding went on until 2023.
But there is a massive taboo about suppliers being friends of suppliers. So for us, you've got to look at them as, they're competition. My styling companies I am friends with are my lifesavers and I'm their lifesaver.
100%.
You've got to be... And we're also confident in what we do in the direction we go.
I have to be able to call. I reckon I've got at least 10 suppliers who, if I rang them right now and said, I need you to come here right now, they would be here.
Dare you?
Who's like, oh,
I don't know who's on the list.
Loads of people. Mainly the suppliers that were at my wedding.
I think you're talking
shit. Any supplier that worked at my wedding.
Oh, absolutely.
Would. Because I picked them because they are like such passionate suppliers.
So she did ring me. Her table plan didn't arrive.
My table plan didn't arrive.
Royal Mail.
Postal strikes. That got me.
So
what day did we do that?
Oh, a couple of days before the wedding, and I had to cancel all plans.
Yeah, you were in seconds. We made a mirrored version of it. We printed out all the things, and it was a no questions asked. I need you to do this, and you were like, okay.
She now owes me about 1,000 favours.
I'm screwed. When you get married, I'm just going to write off the year. I'm not going to take on any bookings, and I'm just going to be at my phone ready.
When I get pregnant, all I was a babysitter. Like, you will have to retire for babysitting
that's fine.
For free.
It's fine. I can no longer work weddings in 2020. When are you going to have babies?
God knows.
This is a whole other podcast.
I can't leave weddings. I love weddings too much.
This is the problem. They are the most addictive job in the world.
People don't get it though. People are like, just take a day off, just sign. No,
you can't. The buzz, like
my brides and my babies.
Yeah,
and grooms.
I don't have to do the amount of weddings that I did in 2020 this year because there's no COVID. I still will. We love you. Don't tell Brian. I don't say no to a wedding because sometimes I'll say to a couple,
exciting briefs,
they're so much fun.
Venues,
they'll say like the plans. And I'm like, well, I want to see that.
The personality.
You're basically being invited to a wedding.
Exactly.
Why would you not go?
And you're like, you are so perfect for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to do it nowhere near as good as I will because we're a perfect fit. But I think with what you were saying is with suppliers is you pay for a service. Your suppliers will deliver that service. And then it's up to that supplier to how much more they deliver.
Shall I tell you why they'll deliver more? If you're nice to them.
Be nice to
your suppliers and they will...
Don't be a dick to your suppliers.
Yeah. Don't be... There's no need... First of all, there's no need to be a dick to your suppliers. Second of all, like in normal life, the nicer you are to someone, the nicer they are back to you. Mm-hmm. So when you go to a shop and you're buying something and you're nice to that person behind the till, they might go, by the way, there's a discount code on blah, blah, blah. See, I'm cheap. But like...
Have a freebie.
Yeah, but like that doesn't happen if you come back with your back up, defensive. Like all your supplier wants to do is make sure that you have the best day. And it might be like, for me, a lot of the time, it'll be me saying, I don't think you should do this. It's not for me. It's because I've seen it happen and I'm telling you this might not work here.
But I do think that point you're saying is why we have caused a bit of a storm in the industry is because we are so outspoken, hence the Unfiltered Bride with our clients. Is I'm very direct with my clients. If I don't think it's going to work, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, and I want to hear them to say why.
I want the best result for you. And again, some people can't take that feedback and that's why they're not the right client for you.
If you're getting, and I tell people to get professional help. When you're planning a wedding, get some help. Like, you don't know what you're doing. Unless you've been married 6 times, you have no idea what's coming.
Or done a wedding planning course from Groupon.
Yeah, I mean, that 3 courses that I think it was £12 that I paid for that.
You are cheap.
That was expensive. But that you need to speak to people that go to weddings day in and day out. Like, to me, I really struggled with the thing of saying to people that I did 80 weddings last year because I want all of my brides to feel like they were the only bride that I did. And I hope they did feel like that and they should feel like that because I cared about their wedding as much as I cared about every other one.
Not as much as you cared about your own though.
Well, I clearly didn't care about mine at all.
But what I can say, it was the most epic day.
Good.
It all came together.
But like how, especially as a wedding planner and even styling, how on earth can you expect me to have the knowledge to make sure your wedding is perfect? Absolutely. Unless I do frigging loads of weddings. So there's a really grey area between like, do you want them to have worked loads or do you want to feel like it's super exclusive, only do 2 weddings a year? Like, to me, I've gone for...
And that's fine. If you want 2 weddings a year, you then have to pay 100 times the price. And I'm not even exaggerating, 100 times the price.
Because you're getting all of the attention.
And that is our job.
Yeah, which is fine. Each to their own. Like, I have always said that, like, the sort of luxury wedding planning thing where you do 5 years, it's just not what I want to do. No shade on anybody that does want to do it. It's not me. First of all, I don't sit in that environment well.
Clientele, isn't it? And we are classed as a luxury styling brand in what we do.
Yeah.
But we make it affordable.
Yeah.
And
which means you have to do a few more weddings than if you just did luxury. I've gone further even into the affordable, I would say, because I want to be able to help as many people as possible.
But even with my high spend clients, they will pick you as a wedding planner because you're just like, who's going to put your lip gloss on before you go down the aisle?
Honestly, and
who's going to make sure?
It's not a sales thing to me. Like, honestly, there's only so many words I can take, but like a coordinator, like not even a wedding planner. Sometimes I do more coordinating than I do planning. A wedding coordinator, you will never ever regret paying for.
And I think people don't understand what a wedding coordinator is because you get it at your venue. So for example,
venue coordinator is different.
My job was a wedding coordinator. Coordinator.
Yeah.
My job was a wedding coordinator.
Yeah.
And at a venue, I was like,
but my job was that for the catering company. I was a wedding coordinator but if we were only doing main course, we're gone after that. Yeah. See ya. Good luck with the first dance. Enjoy. Good luck bustling your dress. Like, there's so many.
Yeah, we're busy sorting your guests out.
Yeah.
Whereas
food was the top priority.
Yeah.
Food, because that's what you'd paid for. Venue is their top priority. So rightfully.
Wedding coordinators who work for the venue work for your venue, not for you.
Yeah.
If you hire in an external wedding coordinator, they work for you.
Yeah. I always try and say that and venues hate me. Until they meet me, which is nice, but
to be fair, venues hate me too, because I'm like, make sure your tablecloths are steamed, and I'm not scared to say that because one, I want your pictures after.
You don't want no greasy cloth.
No greasy cloth. But two, I want you to walk in and have the day you envision, that you've planned with us, and I'll be the abrupt one and tell you. And this is why I think that we have created a bit of a storm in the industry.
I think people hate us, and then they meet us, and then realise actually
they're good at their jobs.
Yeah, and that's all you can ask from a supplier. But yeah, venues. A lot of couples come to me and say, "Oh, I've said that we're speaking to you, and the venue have said that you don't need me, that they don't need to get me." And I'm like, "Okay,
ooh, beef.
Let's have this conversation." I always do a Zoom call beforehand. I'm like, "Let's just have this conversation."
Yep.
I am the least pushy salesperson in the world.
Yep.
I'm like to the point where I'm getting trouble with Brian because he's like, "You realise you need to charge for that?" And I'm like, "Oh, whoops." But I just want people to talk about it. If at the end of that call that sometimes I'll say to them, "You don't need somebody. Actually, this is covered by a lot of things, or you're not doing many elements that are requiring lots of help." But at the end of that call, I think my booking rate is 99%.
Yeah, and I think it's that trust element as well, isn't it? We don't sell to our clients. I actually undersell to my clients because if it was up to you lot, you'd have every single thing in the warehouse. And you're not allowed it. Down to like, do we need a cake table? Oh, let's have a cake tablecloth. I was like, no, the venue provide that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you don't need that, or XYZ, you can save here. And I think it's that honesty as well that people really like.
Yeah.
I just want to...
I want a nice person that's going to put my wedding... not 6 weeks before, your wedding is not their top priority. Sorry, guys. I know it feels like this the only wedding. On that day, whoever's wedding is on that day is the priority.
Yep.
If you had an email from a person who's getting married in 6 weeks, or the person on the day, they get top priority.
Okay, this was us a year ago. Now...
Yeah,
we have invested in account managers and people in the office
that can do that.
So all our clients feel listened, heard, and this is where we went wrong. And you take on all these weddings and you realise actually the communication is really important.
Yeah,
we have an exclusive chat where we have a WhatsApp group which I speak in every single day. Bridal dramas, bridal tips.
Yeah, that's where we're getting all the content from this podcast.
But no, and I think it's important that we've understood that in the industry, and the communication from a supplier is so important. So if you're not hearing from your supplier,
48 hours is what you're like say.
Are they going to turn up on the wedding? I haven't heard they can't reply to an email. So that's where we've really excelled in recently.
100%.
And if you're not hearing back from your supplier, then I would be... But again, it's hard when you're self-employed and you're a photographer on your own, for example.
Yeah, agreed. I think you just need to know the person. If I look at you and you've just told everyone you've got 15 employees and you are not replying to my emails, I don't trust you. Whereas if you're, but she does reply to her emails, so it's fine. But if you know that I'm a 1-2-man band, news coming soon, you are a bit more understanding of the fact that she's at a wedding. I can literally see that she's at a wedding.
And if you put an out of office on to say, I am planning weddings, I will aim to get back to you in 48 hours.
I had a few back-to-back weddings last year, and I did put an out of office, and I was like, I have to concentrate on the weddings that I'm doing. And I hope that brides and grooms read it and go, cool, as long as that means that on my wedding day, she's not sat trying to do emails in the back.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what you want.
Yeah, your whole attention is on them.
Yeah, and that's what you should be looking for when you get suppliers, is that you know that their entire soul is going into your day on that day. 100%.
So we are going to end every episode with some juicy content.
Shall I tell you
what the real reason why you're here.
Yeah,
we know what you want.
Shall I tell you what I've named the feature? Bitches from a bride. By the way, grooms are welcome, but it just doesn't rhyme. No, it's not even a rhyme. See, I always get the name of the thing wrong. Alliteration. So I've got.
You
one
should have stayed at uni, mate.
I know. I'm pretty sure the video only went well because I called it an anagram, and everyone was like, "It's not an anagram, it's an acronym." And I was like, God.
Okay, so the way you can send in all of your bitchies.
Yeah, bitchies. Get a little bitchy.
So the way you can send in all of anything you want us to discuss is through our Instagram. Yeah. Which is _unfiltered_bride. Nice. So drop us a DM, anything you want us to discuss.
Reply to our stories. We want to chat.
Yeah.
We want to know your opinions on what other brides and grooms are saying.
And what we said on the episode. Yeah. If you've got anything further to add, so please get in contact with us. We can't wait to hear from you.
Are you ready?
Oh, no, I don't think I'm ready. Right, let's go.
I recently visited a supplier for my wedding. I won't name names. This is what it says. I don't even know the name. And I'm pretty sure that she was flirting with my fiancé. I like the product.
Wait. Go, Karen.
I like the product, and it was in our price range. Do you think I should still go ahead with the booking?
So if I'm hearing this correctly, so the couple went to go see a supplier.
Imagine coming to etiquette, and I come in to sit down, and you're trying to talk to them about all the thing, but low-key the whole time you're going, oh, look at my boobs. Oh my God, your muscles are so big.
Well, I don't have any boobs, so that wouldn't be a problem. No way. No, sorry.
Even if it's in price range? Even if you love the product? Was he flirting back though? That's the question.
I think oh, fuck, this is fucking deep. Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I think no, I don't flirt with any of my clients, FYI.
I'll be a devil's advocate. I think I flirt with everybody, but that's
you're not
Brian.
selling your services here, mate.
But like they are selling a service. Okay, I think she's obviously gone too far on the thing, but it is my job to make sure that the bride and groom in this situation both feel comfortable.
Yeah, I feel like the grooms are really difficult to get interested, hooked in.
Yeah,
and I do feel like I give a lot of banter. There's banter with clients.
I get in trouble for banter.
You get the vibe from a client. Yeah. And you can either, like some of my clients,
take the absolute piss. Like it's
shout
hilarious.
Out Rosie and Jacob. Jacob just rinses me every time he comes in.
And that's nice. Like that builds a good relationship.
But with other clients, I do not have that
imagine
relationship.
if she messaged you 2 weeks later and was like, I think you've been flirting with him. You'd be like, fuck, that's not what was, that's what I mean. That's not what was intended.
I know there are some suppliers out there that probably would be a bit shady. I'm the real Slim Shady.
I do have as my Instagram tag that I've always had, basically Jennifer Lopez in the wedding planner, but I won't run off with your fiance.
Yeah, I think it's really tough. Actually, I personally wouldn't book the supplier if you felt that way.
I don't think you can come back from that.
No, you wouldn't feel settled. You wouldn't feel comfortable. Like on the day,
depends what their role is. But like you couldn't, if you thought I was flirting, like you couldn't have me because I'd be like, oh, I've just gone to see your groom and helped him put his buttonhole on and touched.
That's really tough actually, and it's a shame because you could.
My advice is if it's like a drop-off product, if that supplier was doing
just write a complaint about them.
But imagine if it's a flower wall, like book it. Yeah. You won't even see them. Like drop it off. If it's a photographer, absolutely not. They'd be like, okay, sorry, could you just get out that shot and then just
can I do some dressing shots?
Flex.
Put your shirt on again for me.
Button it slowly.
Yeah, I think that's really tough actually, and a bit of a. I mean, does he feel the same? That's the question to ask. Is it you? Like, oh no, us girls, we overthink and look into things.
And wedding time is a heightened experience.
Yeah.
Like, emotions
or
are high.
If you really like them, just don't bring him to any more appointments and don't involve him in it.
Maybe you should be looking at the fiancé.
Yeah. Step out now. Back out now.
Yeah, I do think. What if they've already paid a deposit? Would you lose your deposit? How much deposit would you be willing if somebody had flirted with Jack? Like proper flirting, like unmistakable.
Because I wouldn't want it on my wedding day. I just feel uneasy. Yeah. It's like, right, when you were younger.
Very long time ago, a bit older than you, Beth.
And you go out to like clubbing or something.
Yeah.
And there'll be a boy that you've spoken to or whatever, and he's flirting with another girl. your friend's like, oh, just have a few more drinks, enjoy the rest of your night.
Like, no, I'm going to
you're
stare at him for the whole night.
Doing a little two-step. I'm like, and it ruins your whole night. And I think that would be the same context when you plan a wedding. I think it would ruin it. Or if you really like them, just don't involve him.
You're savage, though.
Depends what supplier it is.
I made Brian do every meeting with me, just so that he could never say to me, "You did all this without me." Tick the box.
That's good for me, because to be fair, I think I get about a 50-50 split
of people involved, and I sometimes go to a wedding and have never spoken to the groom, and I as part
Sorry,
of,
who are you?
Yeah, honestly, and as part of my booking form, when people book, I get them to upload a photo of themselves.
Yeah,
I have to know. I can't walk around and be like, are you the groom? Are you
so
the
yeah,
groom? It's embarrassing.
Question that we're going to put on our Instagram, actually, because we've started. Oh, sorry. Question we're going to put on our Instagram, actually, because we've started asking for this, and I don't know if it's weird as a couple that we ask for a photo of you, because we have such a big team, and on the event team and the collection team, they may not know what you look like. And we've had feedback before that, oh, you didn't say hello to the groom, but he didn't make himself aware to us.
You can't possibly, like,
all the men are in suits, and it's really, really difficult.
I wouldn't even know who Brian was on the day,
but
everyone looks good.
Don't book her, she's going to steal off
kiss
your
the wrong kiss the best man instead.
But is it weird that we asked you for a photo that we have on file?
I will never not ask for a photo, and
do you get good responses from it?
I've never asked. I don't put it as a mandatory thing. I'm going to change it to mandatory though, because it helps me. And again, this is where it goes down that line of, do you want to know that I'm doing a lot of other people's weddings? Because I'll do a Zoom call with people maybe a year in advance. It comes to doing their final call, and I just need to jog my memory. I just need to remember. I can't possibly know everybody's name. Like, I don't mean I don't know their names, but like, if somebody said this date, I'm like, I don't know. But as soon as I know and I've seen your face, I'm like, oh yeah, we talked about the dog, and it all comes back to you. But without that photo, it's really difficult to, like, you're kind of going in blind, and then when you see them, you're like, oh yeah, right, okay, I can remember it. So the photo helps me massively, definitely. And for you, like you said, you've got a team. You've got to be able to say to people, this is the couple,
make sure you say hello, be nice
to everyone, but this guy even more so,
VVIPs.
But, and also, I can't, if grooms don't get involved in the calls and things like that, that's absolutely fine. I don't have an issue with that. But I have to
sometimes
know what you
make
look
life easier. We don't have to fight two battles.
I have had some calls that are very awkward, and people are like, clash.
I'm like, do you want to continue that conversation about me?
Maybe we should ask people how involved their partners have been on this wedding. So go over to our Instagram. We'll make sure that question is on there, because we would love to know more about all of this stuff.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Anyway, let's make
You're
it a wrap.
talking too much.
First episode done. We hope you loved it, guys.
Yeah.
Next week we have got some juicy stuff.
We're talking about me, aren't we? All my wedding.
All of Georgie's weddings, her regrets. So the regrets of a wedding planner's wedding.
Do I have any?
And also as a guest, how I felt it went, and what points that I loved
liked,
and what I'd change.
And things like what you actually noticed.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd been good for me to know, like, was this worth the effort?
Perfect. So we hope you enjoyed it. It was great speaking to you. See you next week.
Every week this is happening. Be ready. Set an alarm. We'll talk through it all.
Perfect. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.